In the legal world, there is a combination of forces that feed a corrupt and suffocating legal system for attorneys. Law schools, law professionals, judges, and even the firms themselves for whom you work create a system, a matrix, if you will, that is nothing like what you thought when you passed the bar exam. The purpose of this podcast is to help you escape this legal matrix, leading you out of the proverbial desert to be free of the bondage of the matrix. Hosted by Bryce D. Nyer, attorney at law with over 30 years experience in the trenches of civil and criminal litigation at the state, federal, and international levels. He's a highly accomplished and resourceful legal professional, a true master of his craft, and he's here to help you get your life back. Here's your host, Bryce D. Nyer.
All right. Hey. It's another episode of Escape the Legal Matrix with your host, Bryce D. Nyer, coming at you from Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you're in. And we have a great topic for today, this morning again, whatever time zone you're in. And in the house is Drake, my Labrador Retriever, who is slumbering nearby. I guess he's had a busy day. Of sleeping, having snacks and stuff, but it's always great to have him in the house, as he is one of our law firm mascots. So we're going to talk about tonight this thing called the passion death. Actually, we were going to talk about it last night, and I did talk about it, and then my fantastic production team, Bryce Prescott, who produces it with his team, sent me a text and said, "Hey, dude, just went in to listen to your podcast and there's no sound." And little did I realize that, I didn't pay attention to detail and nothing recorded. So those kind of things can happen. Murphy's Law, it's a family show, so I won't say what it is, but you know what it is. Glitches come up. So this thing called the passion death, what is it? Okay, so we're going to get into it. So there's a backstory to this, and I want to tell you what the backstory is, because I know you want to hear it, because you just asked me you want to hear it. I can tell, I can see it, even though you're not right there in front of me. I know that you were curious. So as I've mentioned in other episodes, I am a member of Wake Up Warrior, which was created and founded by Garrett J. White, who is also the CEO, which is an organization which over 55,000 men have come through, and now it includes women. With an operating system of living in truth. And of course, their motto is stop the lying, tell the truth, and do the work. A little bit more graphically detailed, but again, it's a family show, so to speak. But you kind of get the gist. So we have these things called monthly production workshops, which some of the people that are there are some of the biggest leaders in their industries. And their net worths range from a couple 100,000 to probably millions, if not hundreds of millions, depending upon who they are. So in these monthly workshops are held in Dana Point, California, and you can either do them by Zoom or fly out there. So I flew out there in May. And Garrett was, again, discussing about his life because he lives what he leads. And he was asking all of us, based upon what I've just said, what I just told you, what do you see? And when he came to me, I said, well, you're living the passionate death. And it was a term that came to me as I was sitting there, and I love to write, and I consider myself a superb writer and an original writer, not somebody who uses, AI. And that phrase just came into my head. And as we wrapped up the meetings, which lasted over 2 days, and then I had the weekend before I flew back to North Carolina on Monday, I really thought about how that resonated with me about living the passionate death. It would just not leave my mind. I just kept thinking about really, what does that mean about, living the passionate death? And it came to me. And I've done some recent postings on social media about this. People were like, well, what do you mean? And so I want to kind of delve into that subject. Most people live their lives, I don't know how to say it. I guess mediocrity, maybe they're boring, and they're not being the best version of who they can be and how they live. And we've talked about these domains of body, which is fitness and nutrition, of being in a relationship with God, a balanced relationship with your spouse, your fiance, girlfriend, boyfriend, or family members, or, or other loved ones, and business, which is, are you living in scarcity where you have no money and you're just floundering, or are you living in abundance where things are thriving? And then there's a domain I call fulfillment. But the main 4 domains of warrior are body, being, balance, and business. And as I began to think about living the passionate death, it's not about, initially like being a kamikaze pilot, so to speak, like in World War II by the Japanese Imperial Army, but it's letting the old version of you die. The one that's not stepping up to the plate, the one that's not getting things done, the one that's sedating and in pits and, giving into temptation and addictions and just floundering in this dark and deep place in the pit. And I continued to just let this sift. And I thought about this, all weekend. And when I came back about, living the passionate death. And then I began to rethink about, the movie Passion of the Christ, which was, funded and produced and directed by Mel Gibson and starring Jim Caviezel as Jesus Christ. And a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, it's been out for about 20 years. And it's still great. One of the most epic films I've ever seen in my entire life. But you see in this movie the passion of the Christ, of his passion and his love for humans, for human beings, men, women, and children. And of course, if you know about Christian scripture, he ultimately is crucified and after 3 days rises again from the dead, because he, the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, and he is the Redeemer. He is the bridge between human beings and God, and is the one who can, give forgiveness and salvation. And so he lived his life, his entire life, and especially the 3 years of his ministry, in this passion of how he spoke and where he went and the kind things that he did, and when he healed people and even brought a few back from the dead, like Lazarus. And Lazarus wasn't the only one he brought back from the dead. And so he lives his life with this passion, knowing what his mission is in this world. And he knows he's going to suffer. And he has all the attributes of everything human, because, we are created in God's image. And so he is saying, look, I am God in the flesh. I am the bridge between the Father and you. And so he continues in his 3-year ministry, according to Scripture. It's about 3 years before, he is crucified and then rises again. And so as I thought about my life, I thought, well, am I living my life with passion? When I work out, am I passionate about it? In being I've done some stupid things in life. I've committed some egregious sins. We all have, and I have. I'm not trying to be virtue signaling here, but I have. And I'm like, was I passionate about my faith in God? Was I passionate about my faith in Jesus? Did I toe the line, with Scripture? Because no human being is perfect except Jesus. And then in balance, I've been married, been divorced, and in my life, I always have been the best in relationships or marriages, and, or relationships with some of my siblings or some of my close friends or people that I love. And I thought, man, did I fall down on a job? Did the relationships that I had with people and that I do have with people, are they filled with passion and love and compassion and empathy and caring? And then when I looked at, the domain of business, burnout is a real thing in any profession, but especially in the legal profession and the legal matrix, because the legal matrix will just beat you down. It will just pound you into the ground. It's a blood-sucking life leech is what it is. And so, I started looking back over my life, and I started looking at now, and I'm like, am I really in business living with any type of passion? Because clearly there is a difference between when I decided to go to law school, when I was a young captain in the Army, and now all these years later, after, fighting and being in wars with the legal matrix, and I'm in a major war with the legal matrix now. And so the passion is different. Initially you lost it, and so you understand. Of course, when you graduate past the bar and you get sworn in, you're excited, you have a passion. I want to go in the courtroom, I want to go fight, I want to go rumble. But you have yet to understand the pitfalls and the minefields of the legal matrix. And this is why we come to you with these podcasts about, the reality of the legal matrix. It's real. It's not something that's made up. And the legal matrix doesn't want you to have a passion for living. It doesn't want you to have passions in the domains. It wants you to be this good little robot, so to speak, contained in this box and not go outside of certain parameters. And so in a sense, you become the walking dead and you don't have passion. You just have a fuel cell, but there's no fire burning inside you. There's not even a flicker of any passion that will put you on fire in the domains of the body and being and balance and business and ultimately being fulfilled. And so therefore, you never try to be the best version of who you can be, and you don't go through this process to be the best version of who you can be, and you never are willing to accept the pain that must accompany the process in order to rise to be this king or queen in the kingdom that you're going to create in all of these domains. And see, that's what I thought about in May. And I've been thinking about that ever since. And even last night, having a conversation with a major player in the if you want to call it leadership or coaching industry, we touched upon that about living the passionate death. And even when I posted, even this morning, about the passion death, or yesterday, and somebody commented, well, explain yourself. What is it? And I did. And I explained it in a simple sentence. And then that person, I believe, from what I read and the response back to me, kind of caught on. So, you have to look at your life, where you are right now. Are you living the passionate death? Because he's just simply living and just going along to get along. That's not really living. That's just existing. That's just existing. Like trees just exist. Do trees have passion? No, they're not passionate. They're not human beings. People go say, well, trees feel pain. How the hell do I know if trees feel pain? I mean, I get it. They're living things, but I don't know if they do or they don't. I really don't know. But human beings are created in this image of God. You have a mind and you have a heart and you have emotion and you have feelings. And so there is this passion that is part of the soul DNA. The question and the issue then becomes, are you allowing this passion to rise to the top so that you live the best version of your life? Are you living your soul purpose? Or are you just sitting there in this lackluster life, like wandering in the desert like Moses and the Jews before they got to the promised land, 40 years in the desert, wandering for 40 years. I mean, are you in a desert of no passion? Because there is freedom. There is passion out there. There is a way to live the passionate death. And again, I want you to understand, living the passionate death is not you going in like, getting so depressed you commit suicide, throw yourself in front of a bus, or take some other self-harm or drug. No, that's not what it's about. It's actually about living. It's actually about connecting between your mind, your heart, your soul, and all these domains of body, of being, a balance, of business, and fulfillment. And then this process you go through, and this pain that you embrace, it's not the bad pain, it's the good pain that helps you grow in who and what you are. And your operating systems of how you speak, how you think, how you act, what you do, what you don't do, are filled with this fire and this passion that just rises to the top. Just rises to the top. I love to write. And there are times I'll awaken at 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'll just think of this subject, and I can't get back to sleep, and I'll send an email to myself, or maybe I'll make some notes. And there are just times when I'm writing, it could be one page, a paragraph, or something, and I'm filled with this on fire passion, and it just connects. It connects with me, it connects with God, it connects with other people. And I know it because the feedback that I get from people who read what I write. And see, this is critical for those of you that are considering going to law school, or those law students, if you're already there, understanding that the legal matrix is out there waiting for you to control you and to crush you and to crush the fire that is inside you. See, when you have that flicker and that fire, I want you to live your life and turn that fire into a flamethrower of passion, so that no matter where you go, everybody can feel your fire and feel your passion. And there are going to be many times in your life, especially in the legal profession, this legal matrix, that you're not going to feel that fire. You're going to be like, man, I just wish somebody would extinguish it, and I just wish I could get in my vehicle and drive to an ocean and throw my phone in the ocean and let it sink to the bottom and not talk to anybody, not to anyone. I just want to completely disconnect and unplug from the world because my passion tank is on E. It's just on empty. And these are the times that you really have to look up. And you just got to look at God and go, look, man, I'm just out of passion. I need a refill. I don't know how many credits I got up there. But I'm phoning a friend right now. That'd be you. And I know it's an unlimited calling plan, but I need some points here in the passion. I need to feel like I'm on fire. And I will tell you that in my life, in the number of years that I have practiced law, I've litigated, there are times I've been on fire and very passionate about things. And there have been other times where, man, it took every ounce of energy I could draw from anywhere to have any flicker of passion. And if you're not careful, the legal matrix will become the fire extinguisher of the flame of the passion that burns inside you. And so if you allow the legal matrix to control you, if you allow the legal matrix to destroy your life, it will. It will. It is like the lion that prowls and roams the earth seeking to devour people. And where have you heard that phrase before? You know where you've heard it. It does. The legal matrix, it does not care. It doesn't have feelings. It's not capable of love. It's not capable of passion. It's only capable of consuming you. It's a beast. It's a real beast. And I can't make this any clearer. I can't pound this into you law students' heads especially. You're embarking in a field that's full of collisions and wars, not with weapons per se, but of course, what you may do in courtrooms or what you may do legally someday, if you don't accomplish your mission, it could actually result in real wars where there's blood and guts on a battlefield with real weapons. But in the realm of the legal profession, there are different types of collisions and battles and wars, and some can leave scars internally and mentally and emotionally that are very difficult to heal. And for some, they don't ever heal. They don't ever heal. So I want you to ask these better questions. Where in your world do you have passion? And where in your world are you lacking passion? Is it in all of the domains of body, of being, of balance, of business, and fulfillment? Or is it just one? Because one of those domains that is like cylinders in an engine. If one's misfiring, it causes the others to kind of overwork and can eventually cause the engine to blow up. Okay. And you don't want that. Each one of these domains affects all the other domains that surround it. I mean, there's a hub in the middle of it. And that hub is really your passion. That's the hub, your sole purpose, your passion. And you have to realize that and you have to understand that. I mean, you have to ask these better questions. Why are you here on this earth? Why are you here? Everybody's got a unique mission here in this world. Everybody is unique. There is no DNA that is the same. There is no soul that is the same. Every human being born has their own unique soul, their own unique DNA. Nobody is the same, not even identical twins. They're not. They're still two separate people, two separate souls. They just are. They are. And so you have to look inside yourself and ask yourself, do I have passion? And if I don't, why don't I have passion? And what must I do today to get this passion, to take this flicker of a flame and turn it into this flamethrower of passion in all of these domains? These are the questions you must ask yourself every day. These are the questions I ask myself. And even within the last couple of days, I was just so tired. I'm like, man, where's my passion? Where's my passion? I've got to get in this game. I've got to get off the bench. I've got to move forward. I've got to take action. And when you take action and when you look up to God and you're like, look, I'm burned out. I'm fried. I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to fight another day. I don't want to war another day. I need some passion. I need some passion. I need some pain in this process. So I feel connected to you to move forward in my sole purpose. I want you to think about that. It is a heavy subject, but it is something that law schools will not discuss with you. The voluntary bar associations will not discuss you, and the state bars that license you will not discuss it with you. And that's not their mission to do that, but it is our mission here at Escape the Legal Matrix, because we're forcing you to take a deep look at yourself and inside yourself in these domains of body, being a balance of business and fulfillment, because the other organizations are just not going to do it. And if you don't do it, you will be a prisoner of the legal matrix. And your life will be lackluster. You will never be the best version of who you can be. And you will never live the passionate death. This is Bryce D. Nyer coming at you from Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg, where every day men and women don the uniform and they live the passionate death. This is Bryce out.